to my first ever platinum trophy guide and roadmap. I thought, since I have a slight obsession with collecting platinum trophies, why not do a guide of my own? Anyway, today we're going to platinum Erica, which is a choice-driven game developed by Flavorworks. I suppose it's similar to the Telltale games. It was also free for July's PlayStation Plus members, so it's more than likely you probably have it in your library. Anyway, it's a fairly simple game to platinum. The only thing that might give you a bit of trouble is the actual controls. You pretty much have to do everything with a touchpad on the controller. On the plus side, you can connect your smartphone to the game and use that as a controller. I've not tried it, but a lot of people recommend playing the game this way. All in all, it's not actually a bad game. The story is pretty interesting. The only thing that kind of puts you off is the acting sometimes. It's a bit crap. We'll also have to do 5 playthroughs to get the platinum trophy because this game has multiple endings. If you guys have played games like Detroit Become Human or Heavy Rain, you know what I mean when I say different endings. So most guys will rate it a 3 out of 10 in difficulty. Technically, all the trophies are missable because every choice you make branches out to other choices and other paths. There are no online trophies. Unfortunately, you can't skip cutscenes, and also, there's no chapter select. So be sure to follow the guide so you don't mess up. So if everything goes to plan, you follow this guide step by step, we will both get the platinum trophy by the end of the video. Now, aren't I good to you? All right, now that the review steps out of the way, let's get down to the actual guide. So the way it's gonna work is gonna be pretty simple. Each step we take is gonna be a different playthrough. I will let you guys know at the beginning of the playthrough what ending we're gonna be working towards, and also what trophies you will unlock in that playthrough. I'll also leave timestamps down below in the description so you guys can use that as a guide as well. I'll be skipping a lot of the actual gameplay, and I'll only be letting you guys know what specific choices you need to make at certain points. So I'm gonna try as much as I can to leave out any spoilers, but this is a platinum trophy guide, so you're probably gonna get spoilers anyway. You've been warned. If you really wanna go spoiler free, then I recommend you do a whole playthrough with your own choices with no guides and enjoy the game fully. Anyway, I think that sums up the review, how we're gonna do what we're gonna do, and I think you guys probably want me to stop rambling right about now. All right, so let's get into it, but before I do that, drop my beat! Alright, step 1 of the roadmap, we're going to go for Into the Moonlight ending, and in this playthrough you will unlock these trophies. Keep in mind the trophies won't unlock whilst you're playing the game, but they'll unlock once you finish the playthrough, which is, kind of annoying. But also kind of satisfying because in the end you get to see a whole bunch of trophies pop all at once. Okay, so play the game as normal until you reach this screen where you can choose a picture. Here, be sure to choose the wedding picture. When you have to choose a specific picture, be sure to choose the one on the right so that you meet the requirements for the magic trophy. Again, keep playing the game as normal until you reach the screen where you're looking in the mirror. Here, be sure to select Let It Go, and when you're at the door, be sure to secure the lock and then select Help. When the detective asks for the book, be sure to rip out the page and then select Question when given the chance, followed by Relevance. When you reach the Delphi house, ring the bell 3 times to meet the requirements to unlock the service trophy. Then be sure to interact with the portrait on the back wall. Then be sure to answer the phone, and when you can, select the option Who, followed by Question. After this, go into the room on the left and interact with the desk on the left. Fill out the paper from the typewriter and read both sides of the document for your first collectible. Be sure to open the drawer on the left side and interact with the missing piece of paper to obtain another collectible. Now open the drawer on the right side and pick up the key. Be sure to interact with the radio in the middle of the room and turn it off by turning the dial on the left. In the room you just opened, open the drawer and look for a file under the name of Elodie Carters. Open it and read the paper from top to bottom for another collectible. Interact with the window to meet the requirements for S ranking trophy. When you're outside, look to the right for your next collectible, and when questioned, choose Sorry, then Thanks, and finally Sorry. After this, you can play the game as normal until you wake up the next morning. Then interact with the door, make sure you walk straight ahead on the carpet for your next collectible. In your next dialogue, select Back Off, followed by Music. And then in the next one, choose Get Help to meet the requirements for keeping the Peace trophy. And then in the following dialogue after that, choose Childhood Doll, followed by Nightmares. In the next dialogue, choose Doubt, then Unsure, then Resist, and finally Refuse. When you're outside, be sure to interact with a fox for another collectible, and then in the next dialogue, choose Understand. In the next choice you make, be sure to select Make Perfume, and then in the dialogue, choose Get Matches. Open the left drawer and interact with the paper for your next collectible. In the next dialogue, choose Where Did You Get That, and then leave. In Erica's bedroom, when given the choice, ask him to leave, and then bin the diffuser. When you wake up, be sure to pick the petal for another collectible, and then in the next dialogue, choose Hannah. In the dialogue after that, choose Is He Dead, followed by Is This Skin His, and finally, gift from Lucian. When you're back at the apartment, interact with the broken picture frame on the left, and then be the rebel you've always been destined to be, and be sure to follow the detective. Next, interact with the door on the left for another collectible, then look at his left arm, then the abdomen, then check the left pocket for another collectible, and then finally interact with the face for another collectible. Back at the Delphi house, choose deflect when you can for another collectible, then check the bottom part of the bedside table, pull out the box, and then open the drawer for another collectible. When the dialogue comes up, choose refuse, and then slap a bitch for being a bully, and also meet the requirements for the impulsive trophy. Finally, choose comfort when given the option. When you reach the chief inspector's house, select not Delphi house, and then something's missing. When examining the picture, check the far right side, and then answer with a patient. And then with I saw her. The chief inspector will hand you a note which will meet the requirements for the we need to talk trophy. Then be sure to answer with question, followed by insist. In the bathroom, interact with the door on the right to reach your next collectible, and then make sure you interact with the book that says AJ for another collectible, which will meet the requirements for the Enigma trophy. Flip through the pages for yet another collectible, and when you have your next dialogue, choose fear, then desperation, then murderer. In the dialogue after that, choose worry, then challenge, then that's not true, and then finally lie. When you're unlocking the secret door, you will obtain yet another collectible. Be sure to choose to go into the red room and interact with the body bag for yet another collectible. Next, go through the door on the left and examine the altar with the bottles for yet another collectible. Then interact with the door on the right and try opening the door. After that, play the game as normal, and when you reach a dreamlike sequence, choose accept. In the next dialogue option, choose how did I get here? Then after you have the flashbacks, choose how much longer, and then how do you know that? Again, play the game as normal, and be sure to dust off the wall in the fireplace. After trying to open another door, you will get yet another collectible. In your next dialogue, be sure to choose show me how, and then slice for another collectible. Next, be sure to peek around the desk for yet another collectible, then pull the switch to turn off the power. When given the choice, be sure to choose push him away, then grab the knife, then stab him, and then accuse for yet another collectible. After that, choose are you okay, and then promise. In the next interaction, just ignore all the dialogue and choose the gun instead. Be sure to kill her for another collectible, and then when you can, answer with defensive. Next, pull out the tube, then open up the medicine cooler, select the pink bottle on the top, fill the syringe, and give Toby the injection for your next collectible. After, be sure to wipe the tear from her face to meet the requirements for the farewell trophy. Then answer with she's gone, and then defensive. In your next interaction, just like before, ignore all the dialogue, hover over to the gun, and be sure to murder him for your collectible, and also to meet the requirements for the I see dead people trophy. Then be sure to get the key, unlock the door, and light the diffuser. When given the choice, be sure to choose burn Delphi, and then keep the lighter. So like I said at the start, all trophies unlock at the end of the playthrough rather than when you're playing the game. So if you've been following this guide perfectly, like you should, then you should have unlocked these following trophies. Alright, now step 2 in the roadmap. We're going to go for the happy family ending. And in this playthrough, you should unlock these trophies. So just like the last time, play the game as normal until you reach the screen, and this time be sure to choose the picture with the pregnant lady on it. When you need to choose the right picture, it will be the one in the center. In your next choice, be sure to choose let go, and then secure the lock, and then choose help. Now carry on playing until you reach the dialogue section with the detective, and choose hand over, then cooperate, and finally links to case. This time ring the bell only once, and then interact with the portraits in the back. Answer the phone when it rings, and say nothing. Then go through the door on the right when possible. Interact with the bushes on the far right to see the fox again, and then when given the choice, answer with masked girls, then phone call, followed by staying here, and finally parents. Again, play the game as normal, and in the morning, interact with the door on the right. Then go left to walk around the carpet, and when given the choice, select confront, then music. After playing the piano, grab the tissue, then choose get help. In the next dialogue, choose meeting Blake, then nightmares. After you ignite the lighter, choose worry, followed by unsure, then resist, and finally refuse. When you get outside, interact with the blurry spot on the right, and then reply with understand when you can. After that, make sure you check on Toby and choose defy, and then comfort for another collectible, and also to meet the requirements for another trophy. After you cut the cake, choose what's that, and then restraints. Then make sure you jam the door, and then choose curious, followed by what are you doing, and after you get the sketchbook, be sure to flip through the pages for another collectible, as well as meeting the requirements for another trophy. In the next dialogue, be sure to select greet and then decline.
Trust me, this will make your life better.
Be sure to bin the diffuser, and then play the game as normal until you get to the next dialogue option. Here, select are you okay, followed by is he dead, then is this his skin, and finally gift from Lucian. When you get to Erica's apartment, be sure to interact with the journal on the right, and then choose follow. Interact with the lamp across the room, and then open the mini fridge to get another collectible. After that, interact with the door on the right for another collectible, and be sure to ignore the telephone. When you get back to the Delphi house, open the card, and be sure to sign it to meet the requirements for another trophy. Hopefully you do a better job than me. After that, open the closet and follow the steps until you find a lock for another collectible. Then be sure to become a peeping Tom for yet another collectible. Finally, reply with a box. In the next dialogue, choose not the station, then that's her. Look at the right side of the picture again and answer with mother. Then look at the photos and reply with you're lying. After you receive the note, choose confront and then accept. Again, go through the door on the right, and when you're in the office, open the paper inside his hand to meet the requirements for another trophy. After that, open the drawer, then turn the picture around, and then interact with the medallion. Then answer with fear, desperation, murderer, worry, challenge, that's not true, and finally lie. When you can, peek out the door for another collectible, then play the game as normal until you reach the next dialogue, and answer with comfort, then apologize, then reassure, and finally reassure again. And then go into the red room. Then interact with the TV. Because, you know, we've had a long day, we need to unwind, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, hit next a few times on the remote until the famous logo shows up to meet the requirements for the subliminal trophy. Next, go through the door on the right for another collectible, and you know, to see some weird shit. Then go through the doorway on the left. Now keep playing the game as normal until you reach the next dialogue, and this time choose refuse, followed by reject. After this, open the hand for another collectible, and then reply with why here. In the next dialogue option, choose you deserve it, followed by insane, and then in the next dialogue, choose he loved her, then you're a killer, then it's a hospital, and finally choose to go back alone. Next, choose warn when given the choice, and then choose you killed him, followed by refuse. After you look out the window, be sure to choose get out of here, then just go, then don't stop. Now keep playing the game again until you reach the next dialogue option. Here, be sure to choose wake her, followed by get out. Next, go through the actions, and when you can, be sure to choose the brown bottle this time, and then follow the steps to meet the requirements for the hero trophy. Next, choose are you okay, followed by I need to go. In the next dialogue option, choose green, then girls, then lies, then I'm not crazy. Be sure to lower the gun when you can, and then finally choose trust to end this playthrough. And with that, you should unlock these trophies. And if you've been following this guide, then you should have a total of all of these trophies by now. Step 3 of the roadmap. We're gonna go for the butterfly ending. And in this playthrough, you will unlock these trophies. So if you've been following this guide from the start, then you should be pretty familiar with the beginning of the game. So go ahead and play as normal. When you can, choose the pregnant picture, and then flip the middle one. When you can, choose let go, and when you're at the door, simply press exit. Then play as normal again, and when possible, choose hand over, then cooperate, and then relevance. When at the Delphi house, ring the bell 3 times, then look at the portraits, and when you can, go down the hallway on the left. Be sure to peek in the door on the right. Slowly, you have to do this slowly. Open the door until you can see Dr. Ballard, and then stop to unlock another collectible. Then when you can, answer with masked girls, then thanks, and then parents. Play as normal again, and when you can, go through the door on the right. Go around the left to avoid the carpet. Then when you get to the dialogue, ask for one, then choose music. After you play the piano, grab the tissue, and choose get help. After that, choose meeting Blake, then nightmares. After you ignite the lighter, choose worry, then helpful, and then agree. In the therapy sequence, it doesn't really matter what you choose, so go ahead and choose whatever you want. After you go through the dream sequence, you unlock another collectible. Shortly after, check the death certificate for another collectible, and then choose determined. After the grave scene, go and check on Toby and choose diffuse. Then stay cool, then question. In the next dialogue option, choose challenge, then choose to drink, then answer, followed by answer, and then answer again. Open up the paper to get another collectible, and then choose engage, followed by nosebleeds. When you pull down the curtain and interact with the lock, you'll get another collectible, and also meet the requirements for the backstage pass trophy. After that, answer with conspiracy, and then be sure to move the hair on her face. After the dream sequence, you will have met the requirements for Toby's BFF trophy. When you wake up, pick up the petal as always, open the present, and then answer with Hannah. Then, is he dead? Then, is the skin his? And finally, with gift from Lucian. When you get to the apartment, interact with the picture frame, then be sure to follow to keep your street rep intact. When you can, interact with the light across the room, then interact with the picture on the wall for a collectible. When given the choice, answer with warn, and then interact with the picture again for another collectible. After that, answer the telephone and choose identity, and then refuse. After you play the piano, peek around the corner to watch Dr. Ballard and Hannah for a collectible. Then interact with the bedside table and pull out the box at the bottom and open the drawer. When you can, answer with confide. In the next dialogue, choose not the station, then that's her. As always, be sure to look to the right side of the picture and then answer with mother. After you look at the photos, answer with she faked it, and then accept. When you can, look out the window for another collectible, and you've also met the requirements for another trophy. After this, follow the steps, and when given the choice, interact with the medallion, and then answer with fear, then desperation, then murderer. In the next dialogue, choose worry, then berate, then going crazy, and finally lie. When you can, peek out the door to listen to the conversation. After that, open the lock in the attic. When you're underground, go through the left door, then go through the far left door to find another collectible. And if you've been following this guide from the start, then you should unlock the Voyeur trophy. Now go through the far left door again and keep playing as normal like the previous playthroughs, and when you can, choose accept. In the next dialogue, choose why here, and then in the dialogue after that, choose how much longer. Then how do you know that? Keep playing until you reach the next dialogue and choose show me how. Now just like the first playthrough, slice. Then peek around the corner, then pull the switch, push him away, grab the knife, stab him, choose accuse, then choose are you okay, then promise. After you open the Delphi lock, choose the gun, and then kill her like the badass you are. After that, choose defensive, then pull out the tubes, and then choose the epinephrine again in the medical cabinet, and go ahead and save a life. When you can, answer with are you okay, followed by I need to go. In this dialogue, again choose the gun, and then murder him like a boss. Then follow the steps of getting the key, unlocking the door, lighting the diffuser, and this time be sure to choose breathe in, and then go through the tunnel until you get to the mask for another collectible, and yep, you guessed it, you unlocked another trophy. You know, as long as you've been following this guide. Finally, choose accept to conclude this playthrough. And with that, you should have unlocked these following trophies. And just like before, if you've been following this guide from the start, then you should have a total of these trophy. Alright, now the fourth step in this playthrough will actually unlock two endings. It's going to be the backstabber ending and also the prisoner ending. And in this playthrough, you will unlock these following trophies. So by now you should be pretty familiar with the game as a whole, so I'm just going to give quick actions so you know what steps to take. So at the start, choose the pregnant picture again, and then flip the middle one. In the next dialogue, choose let go, then back away at the door. In the next dialogue, choose handover, then cooperate, and finally links to case. In the Delphi house, ring the bell once, look at the portraits, answer the telephone, answer with who, and then with question. After, go through the door on the right, interact with the bush on the right to see the fox again, and in the dialogue choose phone call, then stay in here, and then parents. When you wake up the next morning, go through the door on the right, then walk around the carpet, choose back off, then music. After playing the piano, grab the tissue and choose get help. Next, choose meeting Blake, then nightmares. After igniting the lighter, choose help, then helpful, and finally agree. Again, choose whatever you want whilst you go through the therapy, it doesn't really matter what you choose. Then after reading the death certificate, choose determined, and after the grave scene, choose make perfume. After mixing the flowers, choose get matches, and be sure to interact with the document on top of the desk. Go through all the papers to unlock another collectible. Then choose apologize when you can. Finally, light the match to meet the requirements for Hannah's BFF trophy, and when you're back in Erica's room, light the diffuser and go through the dream sequence. After you open the present, choose Hannah, then is he dead? Then is the skin his? And then gift from Lucian. In Erica's apartment, interact with the picture frame and then follow once again. Then interact with a lamp and then with a picture to look through the hole. Choose worn, then interact with the picture again. When the phone rings, answer it this time and choose Steinbeck, followed by refuse. In the next dialogue, choose answer, then interact with the bedside table, bring out the box from the bottom and open the drawer. When you can, choose offer and then comfort. When you arrive in the inspector's house, choose not at the station, then that's her. Look at the right side of the picture as always and choose mother. Choose impossible and then accept. Leave through the door on the right and then interact with the medallion. Choose fear, then desperation, and finally murderer. In the next dialogue, choose worry, and then berate, then going crazy. Then choose to kiss him, and finally lie. After you unlock the Delphi lock, then interact with the far left door, and again with the far left doorway. Then just like in the other playthroughs, play as normal, and when you can, choose accept. After that, choose how did I get here, and after the flashbacks, choose how much longer, and then how do you know that? Again, play as normal like in the other playthroughs. Be sure to choose show me how, then slice, peek around the corner once again, switch off the power, and then just like before, push him, grab the knife, and stab him to meet the requirements for the backstabber trophy. As always, choose accuse, followed by you killed him, and finally promise. Ignore the dialogue and killer, then choose defensive. Just like before, save Toby by choosing the epinephrine from the cabinet. When you can, choose are you okay, followed by I need to go. And then in the next dialogue, choose conspiracy, then mother, then lies, then I'm not crazy, and then be sure to lower the gun to finish the playthrough. And like I said in the start, this should unlock these following trophies. And as always, if you've been following this guide, then you should have a total of these trophies. So step 5 of the roadmap is basically our last playthrough. and we're going to basically clean up all the trophies that we need to get, which should be these if you've been following this guide from the start. Now, if you're missing more than just the trophies I've just listed before, then you most probably messed up in one of the playthroughs, and you most probably will have to do an extra one after this one. Alright, so this one is going to be pretty straightforward. Play the game as normal until you go back to the Delphi house after the inspector's house. Then in the dialogue, select dismiss, then reassure, then I'll be fine, and then truth. When you're in the car, answer with okay, and then be sure to open the glove compartment and read the notebook to unlock the last collectible and meet the requirements for the paperwork trophy. After this, play the game however you want once again until you get to the underground after the last confrontation with Blake or Green, depending on your choices. So like in the previous playthroughs, move the cursor to the gun and be sure to kill her, then choose defensive, save Toby by injecting her with the epinephrine, then answer with are you okay, then I need to go. When you get to the part with Lucian, ignore the whole dialogue once again, choose the gun, and be sure to murder him. After pick up the key, open the door and light the diffuser. Be sure to choose breathe in, then go through the tunnel until you are at the butterfly mask, but this time choose reject. Then finally make sure you keep the lighter to finish off the final playthrough. And if you've been following this guide from the start, then you should have that shiny platinum trophy that you worked so hard to get. Well done! Be sure to let me know down in the comments if you guys did get the platinum trophy using this guide. Also, if you guys have any tips to make the process even faster than what I just did, be sure to pop them down below and I'll be sure to pin them for you. Also share this video around so more people can get the Erica Platinum Trophy, and I really hope I made it easy for you guys. I want to take a moment to thank these guys for being patrons and supporting the channel in the most generous way possible. If you guys want to also become patrons and become a part of the elite Farruski clan, obviously with exclusive perks, hit that link down below in the description and become a patron today. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it. Be sure to subscribe. I am planning on doing more Platinum Trophy guides in the future. And that was it for this one, Farruski clan. I'll catch you guys in the next one. GuyFarruski out.